Welcome, section 4.3. This is a quick to the point, not too much here, which is nice compared to the last two. So we're really going to be focusing on the scope of inference. What is this conclusion we can draw based on the study that we did? And this is pretty straightforward. We're going to be looking for two things. Was there a random sample taken? Yes or no. And was there a random assignment? Yes or no. So this table summarizes everything you need to know. If there was a random selection, then you can draw a conclusion about the population. If there was a random assignment, then you can draw cause and effect conclusion. So, random assignment leads you to cause and effect. Random selection leads you to draw your conclusion to a larger group. So, let me give you an example of this. Say we have 40 randomly selected students at RH, and we want to know if having a bedtime, imagine that if you guys actually went to bed at a normal time, maybe, increases happiness. And we just measure your happiness on a scale of 1 to 10. Okay, so this is just an observational study. I did not randomly assign some students to have a bedtime and some students didn't. So let's just say at Rush Henrietta Senior High School. Okay, so there was a random sample taken. So random sample, yes. Random assignment, no. So I can draw a conclusion about the population. Here's my sample of 40 students out of all students at the senior high school. So what happened with these 40 students? I could generalize to all students. So if all 40 students had a bedtime at say 10 o'clock and it turns out their happiness ratings increased over the course of the month, then I can say the same result for all RH students, that if they had a bedtime, they would have an increased happiness, or there's an association there. I couldn't say cause and effect. Now, if I have the same scenario and I have these 40 students and they volunteer to be part of this study, and we randomly assign some to a bedtime and some to no bedtime, and again, we measure happiness when it's done. They volunteered, okay, that's fine. It's not voluntary response bias. We need volunteers for experiments. Random sample, nope. Random assignment, yep. So I can't conclude I couldn't generalize this to all seniors or all students at RH because there was no random sample. I can conclude cause and effect because this was random assignment. So I've done an experiment. Hopefully I've designed it well and I can conclude cause and effect. So basically I'd be able to say what happened to these 40 students, like having a bedtime caused them to have a higher happiness rating. But just for these 40 students, I can't generalize it to a larger group. So that's essentially what this is saying. You're just looking at the scenario presented and looking for, do you have a random sample taken? If you do, what happened in that sample? You can generalize the results to the population. And do you have random assignment? If you do, then you can conclude cause and effect. So that's really it. Establishing causation is difficult. This gets into data ethics, which is not part of the AP curriculum. So I'm not going to go into that. All right, that's the end of 4.3. Howdy.